All right, so we're going to start with this and we're going to end with this. All right, your health starts in your gut. A healthy gut supports a healthy body. So there's your headline pretty much all the way around. The problem today is that diet, natural aging, lifestyle, including intense exercise, people in your clubs, and other stresses upset the natural bacteria harmony to a point. Don't forget, you've got good bacteria and bad bacteria. You've got trillions and trillions and trillions of bacteria of cells inside your GI tract, your gastrointestinal tract. That's what that is, okay? Which is nothing more than it starts in your mouth. That hole there, all the way through 20, 25 feet of intestines and all the way out your anus. That is what we call the GI tract, the gastrointestinal tract. And it's still considered sort of outside the body, but everything starts there, obviously. And it starts sending messages into the body. It reads what's going on in the environment and sends messages. That's why science is all over it. But what happens is all of these outside environmental factors affect the bacteria inside of us. And that's when problems develop. And that triggers other negative health comes from bad signaling throughout the body. The solution, what we've got a very standard sort of solution for anybody, and that is the UltraProbiotic. It supports a healthy gut by recolonizing it. In other words, it starts pushing the bad guys out and puts more good guys. You need both of them in there. That's just the way it works. But bad guys need to overcome, good guys need to overcome the bad guys to establish proper signaling. And we call it crosstalk. So here we go. This supports a healthy gut by adding good bacteria to recolonize the gut to send proper signals to all major body systems, your cardiovascular system, your respiratory system, your immune system, your brain, everything. And it's called gut organ crosstalk. The idea here, my little takeaway for all of you here is the UltraProbiotic helps send good vibrations throughout the body. There are 8 strains. What makes this one unique, there are 8 strains of live beneficial. These are the most studied strains there are, period. These here, right? And prebiotics improve the natural balance of the friendly bacteria to positively influence all health. Most importantly, as we're talking about also, is immune homeostasis. Think of it this way. Our gut bacteria inside our intestines. So don't forget, if you swallowed a penny today, where would it be tomorrow? It would be in the toilet. It never got inside your body. Okay, it would just keep going out, and it would end up in your feces. But what our bacteria does, it senses all these things. It starts sending signals to the body. Take that, don't take that. Here, clear this, get that. That's what the bacteria starts doing. It teaches our immune system how to deal with both harmless and harmful bacteria. All right, we're going to end with that too. So that's how we started. Now this is going to make sense to you, because at the end of the day, everything starts with the gut. So on this slide, all we're telling you here, these are the 8 strains of the 2 most studied microorganisms. It's lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. You don't need to remember those, but and that to improve the natural balance of the beneficial bacteria. All right, so the goal is pretty simple. We're just trying to improve that natural balance. And we're going to supply you with, by the way, it starts out with 80 billion. So when you buy a new bottle of the UltraProbiotic, there's 80 billion, not 35, but 35 will make it to your gut. We've already proven that and shown that, which is pretty amazing, because if you started with that much in food, it would wouldn't even come close to making it to your gut. So think of it that way. So we really undersell this on the amount per capsule here. We're trying to improve that natural balance of gut bacteria, often disturbed, as we just saw, by lifestyle and environmental factors that we just talked about. So the goal is to recolonize it. So you've got a whole bunch of bad guys, a whole bunch of good guys, depending on where you live. When you live in a polluted environment, which most of us do, whether you live in LA or you live in Florida, plenty of stuff going on the outside. You have environmental insults constantly pounding the body, right? Foods, the things that are in our foods, the things that are in our water, all of that. That moves everything to the bad side. So what we're trying to do is move it to the good side and create a natural microflora that's healthy. The Western environment where we live, it obviously pushes it the other way. All right, the rationale, pretty simple. We talked about this on that first slide: diet, natural aging, including lifestyle you choose. And these are the lifestyles we choose. We're not trying to alter anybody's lifestyle. Hey, listen, we're going to deal with what you got, right? Including intense exercise and other stresses upset that natural bacteria to where these problems develop, and it triggers negative health signaling. We get bad signals throughout the body. Bad things from our environment, including diet, bad messaging throughout the body. That's your little take home from that. Our job is to restore the balance with this. And these are the two most commonly strained. The bifidobacterium and lactobacillus are the two most common studies. You're going to see offshoots of these, right? All types of different strains, but they're coming from this major genus. All right, so proper probiotic intervention can cause significant shift and related health benefits. And again, this is somebody write this down. This is really your big take home. What's the basic mechanism of action? And I tried to set that up in the early conversation here. It's the crosstalk. I love a cat, when she started out, said, scientists think of it as the second brain of the body. So when things are coming in, you could almost call it the first brain. It's making all these decisions and it's making actions in the body and sending chemical messages from that stuff that's coming in from the environment, right? And if you're overweight, that's bad things are happening in your bacteria as well. So the goal is really to get the crosstalk between the bacteria and your lungs, and your liver and all the other different organs to have good signals going there, and then good things can happen. So the bottom line is they're the opposite of antibiotics. Antibiotics kill even though they're necessary in certain situations, they're bad for the probiotic because it kills off all your good bacteria along with the bad bacteria. But these are friendly bacteria used to recolonize, right? Okay, so this is what we're trying to do all the way around here. What happens when you actually have good bacteria, you guys have all heard of a leaky gut, right? Well, a leaky gut, I mean, that's like the lay term for what actually is happening. I got some great pictures here on the next slide, so we'll put this all together for you. But when you have good bacteria dominating inside your gut, you end up with a really strong barrier of where that penny was trying to get inside your body, it can't get inside your body, right? Okay, so, or anything else, the same thing. Bad guys can't have a very difficult time getting in there when you're a mucosal barrier. That's the barrier between your gut, that little tube that goes all the way through you, inside your bloodstream, right, into your body. So it decreases the intestinal permeability. So it's really making you where you don't have that leaky gut. That's what we're talking about here. And then by the proper colonization, you get a cascade of health benefits because of that. And that's that organ tissue crosstalk. So this is our first line of defense. So write that down, right? And that defense is a healthy crosstalk. First line of defense, and interacts with almost every system in your body. And that is a primary target for preventative care. And that way, when you do get sick, it's not as bad when these things happen. So again, there exists what scientists refer to as the the probiotic gut brain crosstalk, the immune system gut crosstalk, the lung gut crosstalk, cardio, all of them crosstalk. So I got some pictures for you, as I promised. Okay. All right. So this is how it works. So let's take a look at your gut from the inside here. So this now, here's that mucosal barrier we just talked about. Oops. Sorry about that. I knew that was going to happen. I hit the wrong line. I'm doing it from a different slide. Okay, look. So now, look, this is where you end up with, this shows you right here where that epithelial cells is that barrier that before it gets into your body. There, look at the pathogenic bacteria. That's a bad guy coming in. You see all the green things there? Those are the good guys trying to block it. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to block that bad guy from getting in there because we've got a nice solid barrier. So the probiotics can do all of these. These are the actions of the probiotics. They can inhibit the bad guy from sticking to that and opening up things and letting them in. They can block and neutralize that toxin, right? So, and the fact that they're covering up your whole epithelial lining there is keeping them from coming inside the body, because down below is inside the body at this particular point. So that's what you've got there. And then it also sends up signals to kill it at the same time. And I'll put you into a next slide here. So here, this lower part where it says gut immune axis, that's inside your body. See all those quirky little pictures there? And again, this is part of a bigger lecture, but it really does describe it. There's your lining. There's your intestinal lining. That is outside the body in your intestines up on top. Okay. And again, I don't have a pointer like I do with the other one here. So you end up with that. And that now you've got a strong mucosal lining. And now you're seeing the crosstalk happen here. So what you're looking at right here, you're looking at the crosstalk. On the top part, you see all of your bacteria talking in there and holding up the cells right there. On the bottom part, that's inside the body now. And it's turning on like your killer cells, your natural T cells, all of these things that will actually take on the pathogen once it gets there. And it's telling them a bad guy's coming. And that's what it's trying to do right there. So by having the good bacteria there, good signals, and we turn on the immune system to the right temperature, if you will. Now that translates to this. So that picture now, come over to here, and now we're looking at the same picture. There's the probiotics on the bottom, gets into the body, going there, and that now translates to the gut lung. So that was the beginning of the gut immune. This is the gut lung. Now we're into the body, and those signals that were coming down below are now signaling up to our lungs. Don't give too much inflation. You got to have a little inflation because that's what kills the bad guys. Too much, you end up on a ventilator. You end up in all kinds of problems. So now it's trying to control that by sending the right message. This is the gut-lung axis right here. So again, that's all starting from where? It's starting in your gut, sending the messages up there. And you end up with the proper immune response. And the dendritic cells are kind of cool. These are these ones in the middle here, in this little triangle looking thing. And they're the ones that are really sending the messages there. They present the bad guy, right, to the properly boost the immune system. That particular cell says, here's the bad guy, kill it. And then your natural killer cells are fired up, your T cells are fired up properly. Now, this is really kind of the overall look of how probiotics look throughout the body. Now, this is the gut cardio, but it's also body composition. So not just cardio, but it's also the central nervous system, and it's also body composition. But we'll take a look at the cardio as well. This really highlights how underlying conditions, and how many times have we heard that? People that are overweight, you end up with a real problem, right? It highlights how underlying conditions contribute to a whole range of health conditions, including severe symptoms to standard challenges. A lousy flu, people die. We already experienced all that, of course, with the viruses and everything else. People, their bodies just cannot respond properly. And this tells you where that all starts, okay? So watch this. Take a healthy person right here. So most of you, right, you've been taking your multi, you work out, you eat fairly well. You don't have to eat perfect all the time. We already know that, but you're fairly lean, okay? So look at what happens here. You end up, and this is just these are the different parts of the body. There's your gut on the lower part. There's now inside, there's your gut lining in the middle, and now you're in the blood, and there's the central nervous system up there, but we'll look at it all. But take a look at this. You end up with this. It's what we call eubiosis. So your bacteria is good. You got your healthy guys are beating your bad guys, and it's sending the proper messages throughout the body. So you end up with what? No joint. You don't have any of those holes or leaky gut. It's all nice and solid, right? A normal tight junction in those things. So now we get inside the body. So we got healthy levels of inflammatory cells rather than unhealthy that puts us on a ventilator. And you get to that horrible place there. So you're getting in there because you protected it in the very beginning, and you're sending the good signals. Now let's take a look at the obese person. So again, there's the old chicken and the egg. Which one came first? Well, did becoming obese, did that give you this dysbiosis here? In other words, where you're a bad bacteria, or was a bad bacteria there and helped you get obese? Well, it turns out it might be the latter. So people that have a bacteria, a dysbiosis there, could be causing them for obesity, because we know one thing. When you have a healthy microbiome, you actually don't necessarily absorb all the calories. When you have an unhealthy microbiome, you're absorbing everything you eat. It's getting into your body, and it's going through these compromised junctions here, right? It's coming in through those holes. And we're not blocking any of those calories from coming in, and the bad guys are coming in at the same time. And they've actually done that. They've done transplants of microbiomes from healthy animals into unhealthy overweight animals, and the overweight animals ended up losing weight. And so they've been doing it with humans, and the first human trial was done a few years back, and they were successful with it all. So there's something that they're really looking at. And that's why I was mentioning this earlier when we first started, when they took people on a diet and exercise program to lose body fat and weight, and they added a probiotic to one group and the other group just diet and exercise, the difference was significant. The probiotic enhanced the reduction of body fat significantly with nothing else any different. So again, that's a big one all the way around. I'm not calling it a weight loss supplement. You wouldn't do that, but a health supplement that allows you to lose body fat better because of all these great things that are happening. And here, as far as the immune response goes, again, we've got the better signals coming up here. So you have the proper immune response. And then you end up, and here's all the new studies are also going in this direction toward anxiety and depression, all the bad things that happen to people. You know, what we're trying to do is you see all of these things happening here, the ability to even stave off depression, which is a big thing. They're actually using probiotics to help treat depression along with, again, just an adjunct therapy with it and finding great success with it. So it actually improves all of these things, improves people that are anxious, it improves your depression markers, all of these different things by sending proper messages to your central nervous system. So again, it really is quite something all the way around. If you get your bacteria working, that's where it starts. It's not a panacea by any stretch of the imagination, but it is being studied in order to find out which type of bacteria, of the good bacteria, can do different things in the body. That's why ours is very generic. In other words, we want to make sure everything is good, that just sends good signals the best it can. But there are people that are treated, and these are actually, they're drugs at that point. They're actually treating things like depression with completely different strains of probiotics. But that just tells you how important it is to have it working properly. So here's the gut-brain axis. So stress, anxiety, and mood, right? And you can look at all these things coming in here, and this is what you got. There's how probiotics work over here on the left, as you can see. You start those, and you look at all the names up there. Those are exactly what you have in your probiotic formula there. And it helps with all of the signaling all the way to the brain, and it improves all of these different things that are happening in the brain, as opposed to, again, the opposite. And that's why they're using this to treat depression at this particular time and different anxiety levels, which is pretty much all the same things. But lots of great stuff all the way around on this whole thing. And prebiotics, by the way, you have a prebiotic in your probiotic. There's a little formula inside that. But prebiotics are basically fruits and vegetables. Fiber is a prebiotic. And these things work because they actually feed your probiotics. They feed the good bacteria. And so keep that in mind, that prebiotics, you're getting that from your fiber, like in your Lean MR, you're getting it from your foods, and all that. But we also put a little blend of it in the probiotic. But as you can see, look, these are all the good things that are happening in here. This is all the probiotics down below. They're coming through the gut, the cell wall now. They're in your body, and you can see your GABA, which is that thing that makes you feel good. You get a better production of that. All these things are happening when you have a good, healthy microbiome. And again, I don't want anybody to think this is some sort of panacea for all these things, but it keeps these things from happening in normal people. That's what we're talking about. Again, we're not talking about drugs here. We're not treating something. We're trying to help things keep things from happening. So the probiotic intervention balances all of this. So all of this, a great crosstalk between the brain and the gut. And good things happen. All right, so I put all these studies. These are the most recent studies now, right, of probiotics. And almost, I don't know any athlete, of course, and you probably unarguably, no one works with more athletes than we do, pro athletes, college athletes, none. And probiotic is just part of everything that they do all the way around. And so these are all the later studies on these things here from 2017 all the way through 2022. Benefits athletic performance by indirectly maintaining your GI health, right? Protecting the immune system. I mean, we can reduce sick days unbelievably with athletes using probiotics. So instead of being out for 4 or 5 days because you're sick or you can't breathe or someone had to go on a ventilator, we can get it down to, we can get them down to 1 day, 2 days, or maybe not even missing, even though we do make them miss their workouts when they're sick. Stimulates the immune system in the elderly, which is huge. I mean, there's none of your people in Florida should not, your older retired people, they should all be using this for sure. Improving symptoms of constipation, stool frequency, again, upper respiratory tract infections. So you saw all the diagrams. So now the stuff makes sense to you, right? And positive body composition outcomes, tons of studies on that now. And also the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is like one of the biggest problems we have today, and messed up liver signals, and helps reduce some of that. And this is all your most recent ones. These are all 2021 and 2022. You look at all. It improves psychological and physiological markers of stress and anxiety. And these are all brand new. These are hot links. So you can click on if you guys want the studies for any particular reason. Endurance athlete, improves endurance performance, all right? Demonstrates the capability to preserve and functional monocytes. So that's all part of your upper respiratory tract infections, reducing all of that. And of course, weight loss outcomes, we already talked about that. But just about everything down here. And again, reducing the sick days, that is huge. The frequency and severity of upper respiratory tract infection, which every ultra endurance athlete gets following an event, and bodybuilders too after competitions and so forth. They're so susceptible. They have what we call immune suppressed responses, exercise-induced immune suppressed responses. So their immune system is compromised from being overstressed all the way around, trying to repair the body from all the damage it's done from ultra endurance stuff. And then here, as you can see, it's a common adjunct in COVID therapies as well. Again, you're not treating anything, you're not trying to cure anything, you're just trying to make things better by giving something the body already has, but pushing it in the right direction. Okay, and then again, just put them all in here for anybody that wants to look up anything that may be of particular interest to you. Every one of those links is hot, and you can look at those. All right, so what makes ours unique? All the way around, we just talked about that, the 8 probiotic strains, but it's from Danisco, and they are the largest producer of probiotics and everything, whether it be in food sources or whether it be in supplement sources, without a doubt. That's why we picked them. It took a long time to find someone that we could really trust and get it done. And so, and again, these particular strains, they actually survive. They make it. They make it to your gut, in down to where you want them to be. The problem is the acidic acid of the stomach, which is a 1 pH. It kills so many of the things, because that's what its job is, just to kill all the bad things that come in there, but it kills a lot of good things at the same time. So a lot of good bacteria gets wiped out in there. They actually have a patented formula that actually they can stabilize the strain so they don't get damaged stomach, and you can make it to the target tissues, which is the intestines, your lower intestines there. You don't want them in the gut, obviously. You want them in your intestines down there. And they call it bioenhanced acid-resistant strains. That's why you don't have to refrigerate these. These things are dormant until they get activated into the body, and boom, they make it down there. 80 billion, like I told you, that's what it starts with, right? That's 45 billion more than claimed. So you can guarantee 35 make it there no matter what, at least. And of course, that's why you don't have to refrigerate it also. The shelf life will go on forever, pretty much. The prebiotic, that's what we're talking about. It's just a little, again, a food source of probiotics. That's all it is. So it feeds the probiotics, and it's called Fiber Aid. So that's another patented formula that's in there from Lonza. Now, the third-party testing, believe it or not, it's third-party tested by Skiller or Covalence or LA Analytical. The people that do this for us, they just submit it to the different third-party testing. So that's up on the website. But the reason it's not NSF certified for sport, they actually did certify it the first time we made it. Then they realized they couldn't test it properly. It's too complicated a formula for NSF. I know that sounds funny, but they're not, they're not the scientists like these guys. Danisco is like, they're it. So these cultures are unique, everything about it. So NSF was unable to certify them there. It doesn't, but everybody knows that third party tested it, and it goes through the same rigor, if not more, and with Danisco. So that's why our athletes all still use it. And this is part of a different lecture. It just shows you inside the laboratory there. It's pretty cool stuff. It's a nice little tour. And I actually put a link in here. I think you can get to the site if you wanted to go through a little bit of a tour. But it's how they select the strain, the fermentation, and how they concentrate it, all of this stuff, and stabilize it. There's the bears thing that they do, and freezing it, and then finally freeze drying it and getting it ready for packaging. Pretty cool stuff. And this is just survivability. This just shows you how many actually survive. And it's, again, nothing to do with this lecture here, but I just leave the slide in there because it's pretty cool information. You can't get that from any other probiotic. You're not going to be able to get this kind of information because they don't do it. All right, so let's summarize this bad boy and get into some Q&A and so forth, and little takeaways. Purpose and use, I think you guys got it, right? Proper gut organ crosstalk. Just make it real simple right there. That's what it's all about. Proper gut organ crosstalk, so we have much better health outcomes than having bad bacteria in the gut. And it may be especially important for athletes participating in prolonged high-intensity endurance activities seeking immune support. And anyone during seasonal health high-risk periods, in other words, flu virus, like right now, this is part of our immune package. I'm doing an immune lecture for almost all of our large groups this month. And if we have immune packages, what this is essential, this is better yet. And of course, the probiotic is right there. And now you know why it's right there with all that. Take one daily. That's all you need. Just take one daily. It doesn't matter when you take it. Take it in the morning, take it in the afternoon. Just take it with your multi, whatever you're going to do. Just take one daily to keep the good guys pushing out the bad guys, because they don't live long, these things, once they're in the gut. All right, so I put some notes back here. Everything here. This is, again, you can use this any way you like, right? So the expert scripts are back here, consumer handouts, staff training materials. Again, we have this for all products, but I just want to make sure you have this. So here's your baseline, right? Your multi, there's your protein. And your workout days, how you take your protein. So there's just nothing more than adding your probiotic. Just take it same time you're taking your multi, and there you go. There's your baseline. And by the way, these links are hot. So if you decide to use this for a customer, send them through your little link there, or whatever you want to do. They can click on that and get a little 1-minute video on every product. Saves you any other trouble. And then here is your ultra probiotic in baseline one-liners. There's your one-liner on your multi, right? There's another one right there. And of course, you have one for what? Every life phase, every gender, you have your multi, right? And you can't get these things in a store. And they complement everything perfectly. And then there's your protein. And we have one for every lifestyle, every diet, no matter what it is, no exceptions. We have one for everyone there, right? All of it there. And you save money on groceries. They're all lactose free. And there's your ultra probiotic one-liners that we just saw. So good vibrations throughout the body, supports a healthy gut, adding good bacteria to recolonize the crosstalk. So here's some one-liners from everybody here, expert presentations. And again, this is captured from what we saw on the front. It's almost word for word what we started with. The gut immune, right, and the immune system support one another, promote a healthy body. Ultra probiotic helps recolonize the gut with good bacteria to send good vibrations throughout the body. And again, these are all the things that disturb our bacteria, and that triggers, now you know what, now you know how, it triggers negative health outcomes from impaired signaling, because we got a breakdown of our stomach lining, of our lining that goes into the body. It's supposed to keep the bad things out. And then you got bad messages going through there because you got too many bad guys talking louder than the good guys. Friendly bacteria and unfriendly in our gut. We want the good guys stronger. The ultra probiotic is friendly bacteria to recolonize the GI tract to help maintain a healthy gut and proper immune signaling. A healthy tract is our first line of defense and interacts with most body systems. And there exists what science is called the gut brain. The gut brain, immune, lung, cardio axis. All right, so here's where we started, and here's where we're ending. Now this all makes sense to you. Supports a healthy gut through recolonization, proper signaling. 8 strains, that's the unique part. Teaches and don't forget this part, so it teaches our immune system, especially now, teaching our immune system how to deal with both harmless and harmful by the crosstalk going back and forth between the immune system, our lungs, everything else there. And then here's some one-liners. Probiotics can boost immune cells, antibody production, and prevent harmful growth of bacteria in the gut, as we saw, the inhibition. And then a healthy gut will help with having a healthy immune system. 35 billion non-refrigerator probiotics formulated to survive the acidic environment. So, as Eve likes to call all that out, and supports a positive body composition, as we just saw. And then Brian's here. Probiotics are good bacteria that helps your body healthy and well. Good bacteria helps multiple ways fighting off the bad bacteria when you have too much, which happens from our environment, helping you feel better. And it's made to survive the acidic environment in your stomach. So he calls out the good stuff about it and what it's actually doing. There's some one-liners, whichever one, works for everybody. I did put these FAQs because we get this a lot. People ask, well, what's the difference between our digestive enzymes and the UltraProbiotic? And you can see how that might be confusing to someone. So just wondering, what are the benefits and the differences between the digestive enzyme and UltraProbiotic? Well, you guys know exactly what the UltraProbiotic now. It contains good bacteria strains to recolonize. We got that, right? To improve the crosstalk between the gastrointestinal tract and the rest of the body. So you know exactly what that is. The digestive enzymes are just that. They just add to your natural production. Your digestive enzymes are what breaks down our foods once they enter our body. Once you take a protein in, protease is released. When you take in a dairy product, lactase is released. When you take in a carbohydrate, amylase is released, and then lipase for fats. And that's what's produced by our pancreas and different parts of our body to break down the foods. Well, okay, so that's kind of how these things work together. Once you break down those foods, and the foods are going down the GI tract, and then the bacteria is getting signals from the right breakdown of the food. So they kind of work together, but they're completely different, as I just described. One is nothing but supplying good bacteria to recolonize. The other one are just adding to your natural productive digestive enzymes to make sure you get everything you can out of your foods, break down those foods as they travel down the tract. And of course, that will help the bacteria as well. So there you have it. One more tool in our health cabinet to help keep people away from having to stock their medicine cabinet. We live in this world of this drug culture that we live in that drives me nuts. And I got to keep reminding everybody, because I'm taking on Big Pharma big time right now. I'm on a mission here over the next 5 years of my life to take them on so I can help people avoid the Big Pharma trap, where all they want you to do is get on drugs and stay on drugs. Our job is to keep your health while you have it, to help avoid the Big Pharma trap. There's the number that is the most staggering of all. 75% of all adults, that's over 18 and older, are on daily prescription medications. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. And it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. We have the ability to take care of people's health while they have it. We deliver their self-care solution, which is what everybody wants. So one more tool, the protection before cure approach. And you were the champions to get that done. So just be there. And I threw this in here now. There's, the healthcare or sick or disease care whole thing here, right? Well, I guess our time's up. Remember this, the protection before cure thing. Here's the saying here, and don't forget, Benjamin Franklin said this a long time ago. An ounce of cure is worth more than a pound. An ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. Well, because it's better and easier to stop something from happening in the first place than to repair the damage after it. And sometimes the damage can never be repaired. That's the problem. So you can work with my staff now, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, because we're self-care experts. The prevention, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, or their staff later. Again, so prevention before drugs with side effects approach. If you want the drugs approach, not a whole lot I'm going to be able to do for you, because you're just going to do what you want or whatever. But the bottom line is, it's so easy to prevent this stuff from happening, and we know that. So here's my world, right? We'll finish with this. Fitness, that's you, are the primary. We're not exercise instructors. We are fitness professionals. We're giving you what you need from a holistic standpoint to live a longer, better life and avoid the Big Pharma trap. Primary preventative side of healthcare through the self-care that we deliver to you. Imagine a world of healthcare, right? Well, this is what I'm talking about. Just nothing. You got a health cabinet to avoid the medicine cabinet. And there's nothing much in there. That's just your baseline stuff, your multi, omega, and a protein. And the protein saves you way more money to pay for everything else. Or this is your typical medicine cabinet for, especially people in Florida. They probably have even more than this stuff. This is it right here. All of these types of things. But here, the protection before drugs with side effects. And you can pay very little now, in fact, save money over here on the left, or a whole lot later, and a heck of a lot more than just money. So our job is to try to cross that thing out. And we just added one more thing here to your health cabinet. all the way around that you should have in there regularly. And we can help avoid these things on the right, and you can stay active and doing the things that you love to do till end of days. So here's your complete health longevity program. I just put this in here. If you were going to do it based on budget, because I always do, I'd always work with people no matter what. Okay, listen, you're not going to get away without getting baseline. No one walks out of my office. No one's ever going to work out with me. No one's ever going to talk to me without leaving with their baseline, which is their multi and their protein. And I convinced them the protein's only saving you $30 a month on groceries. So you got tons of extra here. But this is the minimum. Your fast acting proteins, so you recover and stay active, and it saves you money, and then your multivitamin. And omega-3 if you're not eating fish, okay? What's your first ad? I know you're going to think, oh, why don't you put the UltraProbiotic first? Well, this is really your first ad, and what's to somebody? Yeah, okay, I've got superior antioxidants. Someone just asked that question earlier. This would definitely be your first ad, right? Your next ad would be the probiotic, and then you'd end up with the Joint Flex collagen, unless somebody's premier goal was Joint Flex, and that would just automatically come in with their multi. But this is your basic health longevity program. I do it for all your top CEOs, almost every top CEO in the world, not just the US, and you know them all, and some of them you might not even like, but yeah, I'm stuck with doing all their nutrition programs, and you're looking at it right there, right? And they don't have any financial limitations. So this is where you got the vitamin D added to it. You got your brain health down here at the bottom. So this is what ideally, if there's no financial limitations, this is the way it goes, but I gave you the flow. So you've got most important, all the way around based on financial